Ladies and gentlemen, as a government side, we don't think that if a biological father is willing and able to raise a future child, he should have the right to prevent abortion. Simply because of our burden of proof, as biological fathers have right over third party, especially if the woman is not their wife. So we believe that this debate is about the value judgment, whether this willing biological father should be given the right to prevent the mother from going through abortion or not. And in today's context, we are talking about a couple who haven't married yet, but they already have a legitimate child together. Indeed, the guy or the father is not legally binded to the woman as they haven't married yet, but somehow or other, we think that the fact that this father still has right over the third child cannot be denied. Because of that, the father should be given the right to prevent abortion. So why does abortion occur at the first place? Usually, when these cases happen, the mother would be the one who will face the burden. She wants to take care of this child, but the father will be the one who will neglect this responsibility as father, leaving this mother alone. In most of the cases, because of financial problem that this mother faced, and also because of this father is being neglecting towards his responsibility, they tend to go for abortion as a solution for her problem because they think that abortion is the best solution that they can come up with. But given into this context that this biological father, is willing and actually can afford to raise this future child, we think that the mother should carry on with her pregnancy as there is a guarantee that this father will take care of the child. And she doesn't have to be worried as he won't be the one who will take care of this child. Instead, the father will in future. So however, we are not going to implement this in the case of raping cases because there is always bad consequences will happen if we allow this thing to happen in the case of raping cases. Because when we talk about raping, it means that the unwilling sexual intercourse happened and the victims are always the women. We hardly find rapists who are willing to take care of the future child, and even if there's out of sudden the rapist came to the picture and say, hey, I am volunteering myself to take care of this baby, I can guarantee you that this mother would really allow it to happen because the fact that this mother is still under trauma and she is actually psychologically harmed by the accident, and we think that this mother is also the victim into this context. Therefore, in raping cases, we don't think the biological father should be given the right to prevent abortion, but in the case of they are having a legitimate child together and they were couples, we think that the father deserves to be given the right to prevent abortion in the first place. So, done with our case line for today, now let me move on to my first argument, which I'm going to talk about why biological fathers have the right over third party, thus enable them to prevent abortion. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about abortion, we are talking about the act of killing the child in the mother's womb. We believe that this abortion is the act that is against the morality and is entirely bad, especially when you are doing it on purpose. So, when this willing and the father who is able to raise his future child come to the picture who want to save the life of this future child from being killed, from being aborted, we think he deserves to do what's good to this baby. And I'll be dividing my argument for today into three levels. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the father's right towards this future child. Second of all, I'm going to tell you about the right of the child to live their life in future. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the right of the mother and how does these three things relate to our burden of proof, which is biological fathers have right over the third party, especially if the woman is not their wife. So firstly, about the father's right. We think that we all know that having a legitimate child is not something good. We know it, and he also knows that it is actually part of his fault. However, he is ready to take responsibilities towards this future child as the act of repenting his dog's mistakes. Plus, this future child is still his biological child no matter what. We think it is not wrong if he wants to prevent the mother from going through abortion. We think the act of giving chance to this child to live his or her life is extremely good. There is also a guarantee that this father would never neglect his responsibility as father, because in today's case we are talking about two humans, the child and also the father itself. Logically, when he said that he is willing and able to do that, we know that he will keep his words. Again, we are talking about a father and a child, not a pet keeper and a cat. Perhaps we can see into this world itself, there's a lot of single fathers who manage to take a great care of their children, and we see no problem occurs there. And it proves that this father should be given the right to do so. So secondly, I'm going to talk about the right of the child. The opposition side might come out and talk about this future child is not yet alive, and because of that the human right is not fully implemented in his or her life, but they're actually alive because they are not functioning well physically, but we cannot deny the fact that he should be given the right to live also, and they are not deserved to die because of others' fault. And the father is that let him take care of this future child, and the act of him giving chance to this baby to live his or her life is great enough. Therefore, the father should have the upper hand in preventing abortion. And lastly, I'm going to tell you about what is the right of the mother itself. Indeed, the mother should have the right over her body. However, we are not just talking about her body, but we are also talking about the future child that she carries. The father of the child also has the right towards him or her. And secondly, we know that this abortion is against morality and it is bad. So we can actually take away her right as they tend to abuse it. She tends to abuse her right by killing an innocent creature in her own womb. How could we let it happen when we know that this future child could be brighter, because by the end of the day the father will come out to the picture and take care of this child. And therefore we think that these biological fathers who are willing and able to raise this future child should be given the right to prevent abortion. So whatever I told you for the last 6 minutes is very simple. I have clarified to you that number one, their value judgment whether this couple who has illegitimate child, and if the father is willing and able to raise his future child, he should be given the right to prevent abortion or not. And next, I have shown to you how the fathers have right over the third party, especially if the women are not their wives. And because of that, we clearly shown to you that we take today's debate. With that, I beg to propose. Thank you very much.